And Zarco on pole position. There are a few overtaking hotspots, few and far between in MotoGP. One of the key areas, of course, turn 12, as shown here from 2 years ago. Petrucci on Miller. Coming up next, though, Joe's the championship lead down on fellow Frenchman Quartararo. The leader of the championship himself starts second, looking to put Zipgate behind him. Dizzy heights for Aprilia. They're on the front row with Aleix. Is today the day? And Marc Marquez looks stronger, but does he have the fight to defend his unbeaten status in Germany? Grand Prix. First up though, Sachsenring, a 30-lap race coming up, and a tough one to call at that. As ever in MotoGP, it's tight at the top, it's unpredictable as ever, and we're going into today really not knowing who stands the best chance of winning. It feels like there's 4 or 5 riders that could be in the mix. An exciting day ahead, and it's Johan Zarco on pole for the first time in 2021 on the Pramac Ducati, joined by Quartararo and Aleix Espargaro. But in recent years, this is the man to beat around here in Germany, the king of the ring, Marc Marquez. No one has got close to him here in Germany. Well, a few have gone close, but no one has beaten him to the top spot. Folger certainly comes to mind. What a year that was. But the big question is, can he do it again today? He's not been on the podium since his return from injury, but his best chance comes today, Matt.
Yeah, it really does. A 1-2-5 winner here, 2 times a Moto2 winner here, and 7 times a MotoGP winner here as well. He's never lost a race in the Premier Class here, Marc Marquez. 5th on the grid, his best qualifying since he returned from injury in Portimao. His race pace, not bad at all. He's got a great chance of being on the podium here today. This man, though, in FP4 yesterday had sensational pace. Likewise, the winner last time out in Barcelona, Red Bull KTM rider Miguel Oliveira. Fabio Quartararo, 14 points clear then of a French 1-2 in the World Championship. It's a French 1-2 on the grid as well today, with Johan Zarco's first pole since Brno last year. Fabio Quartararo, then, after all the problems he's had of late that have cost him chances to fight for wins, the zip problem last time out in Barcelona, the arm pump issue when he was leading Jack Miller in Jerez, there has been some big World Championship points gone begging for the Frenchman so far this year. He'll want a clean, mistake-free race here today.
Aleix Espargaro starts from the front row. A great day for Aprilia yesterday, but he walks in with a bit of a limp and a bit battered and bruised after a hiccup this morning in warm-up, a nasty little crash at turn 5. He got back on the bike and he looks like he's ready to go again. Will that have just touched the confidence? And we're just getting news here. Can you believe this? After the sweltering weather that we've had all weekend here in Germany, Matt, a couple of fine spots of rain have just started to fall. Yeah,
a few moments ago after the Moto2 race, I did just quickly pop my head out of the commentary box, and it did have that feeling of rain in the air, moisture in the air. So let's hope, after all the scorching, sweltering hot conditions we've had all weekend so far in the Sachsenring, that there's not going to be any disruption. We did see in this morning's warm-up session, this is what the teams were worried about. A few riders did scrub off rain tyres just to take the shine off them ahead of this race. If it is a flag-to-flag race, well, keep an eye on this man. Flag to flag, full wet or full dry. In 2021, Jack Miller has been strong in all conditions, aiming for a 5th top 6 finish in a row. One more podium already at this stage of the season for Jack Miller. He'd have matched his tally from the whole of 2020. That gives you a clear indication of the big step forward and the progress that Miller's made, having been moved into the Ducati factory camp.
Joan Mir, the world champion, has struggled most of this weekend, and he has to start the Grand Prix from 16th on the grid. Sectors 1, 2, 3, no problem. Sector 4, a big issue. He's got a lot of work to do. According to the team, they found the problem area, they fixed it this morning in warm-up. They're really confident of his race pace, but it's Sachsenring, and he's on row 6. That seems like an impossible task. Mir has come through so many times in the past. He's going to need a rocket start here today, but maybe with that fixed problem in Sector 4, he can have a better day than expected.
Johann Zarco had a very eventful Q2 session yesterday. He'd just taken pole position away from fellow Frenchman Fabio Quartararo, and then he had a heavy crash himself, a high-speed tumble on the left-hander to number 5. But will the backflip be back in about an hour's time? That's the big question. Johann Zarco, second in the World Championship, great qualifying record so far this year, not started a race lower than 6th place. He goes from the head of the grid today, trying to make it another podium. Will he finally break his victory duck? 11 MotoGP podiums for this man who we're looking at now. 8 times he's been runner-up, including a close second last time out to Oliveira.
Well, these cooler temperatures change anyone's mind in terms of tyre decisions coming into the race as well. Most were looking at the weekend at the hard front and the medium rear. 30 years we do racing. Dorna, Erta, the MSMA, 1992, the German Grand Prix there at Hockenheim. You could see on that day it was a big win. Can't remember actually who for. It was Mick Doohan, wasn't it? Of course it was. Mick Doohan, who took the victory, as we just saw on screen a moment ago. Who wins, though, 30 years later here? Will it be this man, Miguel Oliveira, 7th in the World Championship? He won last time out in Catalonia. He was 2nd in Mugello as well. And he's just so confident. His paces look really good as well. You would not discount him from being on the top step for 2 GPs on the trot. He is KTM's #1 at the moment.
Yeah, he really is. After a sluggish start, shall we say, 9 points from the first 5 races. That wind just starting to pick up again over the hills surrounding the Sachsenring. Let's hope that it's not going to drag in any proper rain and we can get a full dry 30-lap German Grand Prix, because it's all set up to be an absolute classic. Pecco Bagnaia throughout Friday in FP3 and FP4 has shown great race pace, but a bit of slowing traffic during Q2 really cost him the chance of a good grid position. A lot of work to do for Bagnaia, coming from 10th place and on a circuit as tight and narrow as the Sachsenring, notoriously difficult to overtake. It could be a long, hard race for Pecco Bagnaia. The first 2 or 3 laps vital for him. He's got to make some big headway quickly before that lead group could potentially break away.
I mean, it doesn't look the prettiest picture, does it, from these camera angles? It's still very warm, as you can see, 28-degree air temperature, perfect track temperature, so there's no dramas there. It would really have to dump it down with rain for it to really affect. And Simon Crafar just reporting that the spits of rain for now have stopped, which is good news. Here's Pol Espargaro. He's crashed 3 times this weekend, the 30-year-old, the 30-year-old from on the Repsol Honda, but he starts from 8th on the grid. We know Hondas have got a fantastic record here, but we are hearing now from our IPF truck, as you can see on a sighting lap, Alex Marquez leaves to scrub in a wet to take that outer film off. 30 kilometres away from here, it is raining.
You can't make it up, can you? I mean, we've had a weekend where staying dry has been a challenge just because everybody's been sweating buckets. It's been so hot. Let's hope we get to stay dry because there's no rain coming. 30 kilometres sounds a little bit too close for comfort, doesn't it? Fabio Quartararo and Alex Rins head out onto the circuit. Alex Rins has made a pretty impressive return from that broken right radius bone in his right arm after a bizarre and weird training accident in Barcelona on the Thursday. He admitted afterwards he was cycling on the circuit, distracted by text messaging, and hit a service vehicle that was getting set up for the weekend's action. Good to see Alex Rins back here in action, although it's going to be a long race for Rins. He's down in 11th place. Of course, as those laps do tick off, although it's a predominantly left-handed circuit, anti-clockwise in nature, this Sachsenring circuit, there are a couple of hard braking zones and a couple of fast change of direction which have been quite troublesome for recovering Rins.
Exiting pit lane then, the winner from last time, Miguel Oliveira, who launched himself up to 7th overall in the World Championship after that last win. There's Santi Hernandez, quite rightly taking a good look at the track temperature at the moment. The nerves jangling for all teams. Honda so dominant. Will it be Ducati that spoil the party? Will it be Yamaha? Could it be Aprilia? KTM? And if it's Suzuki, well, it will be some job, won't it, from where they are on the grid. Most, it looked like yesterday, we're going to go for the hard front and the medium rear. Will anyone now gamble on a soft? Surely not. There'll be a few out there going medium as well, but we'll see on the grid just how this one pans out. And of course, remember, MotoGP, flag to flag races. If it does start to rain, let's just hope that that's not the case. We don't get any disruptions here, but you never know, do you, in MotoGP? We had a bit of a surprise in Le Mans with our first flag to flag in years. Will we have another here today? Fabio Quartararo just being wheeled across the front of our commentary box on the left of your screen, up towards the front row. No sixth pole on the trot for Fabio Quartararo, but he won't really care about that if he can stand on the top step later. And will we see the French national anthem playing, but for another rider in Johann Zarco? We've been waiting for the backclip for some time now. It's his 74th MotoGP start for Zarco.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still got in his locker. I'm sure he's been practicing, or maybe there's something new. Maybe there's a, you know, he's quite the adept gymnast, isn't he, Johann Zarco? Maybe there's something else he's been working on behind the scenes. He'll certainly be hoping to at least have a chance at performing some backflips post-race. What will this young man know? What part will he play in the German Grand Prix? Usually, when we're sitting here just about ready to commentate on a German MotoGP race, there's only one question on your lips: who's going to finish second? Because Marc Marquez traditionally so dominant. Fifth on the grid, second row. He feels like he's got a great chance of fighting for the podium, potentially fighting for the victory as well. Who is going to discount Marc Marquez around the Sachsenring?
Change of tyres potentially here for Tech 3. Danilo Petrucci starting all the way back in 19th. Now, if he wants a chance of finishing in the top 5 or 6 today, he probably could do with a sprinkle or two coming down in the next 10-15 minutes here in Germany. Here he is then, the Pramac Ducati racing rider, Johann Zarco. A stellar season so far for the 30-year-old from Cannes. He'll be turning 31 in the summer break. 4 second-place finishes to his name in our first 7 races so far. Let's now go down, in fact, on pole position and join Simon Crafar, who's standing alongside, I'm sure, a nervous Francesco Guidotti.
Yes, with his man on pole and another one in 7th, Jorge Martin. How are you feeling, Francesco?
The feeling is happy to be on pole, because it's always a special place. But yeah, I think the first 2 rows, everybody can win. The fight for the podium, the victory will be within the 6 riders in the first 2 rows. Let's see.
Any other concerns? Like, I've heard a lot about tyres this weekend.
Maybe at the moment more about the weather. It's changing quite quickly. Seems that in less than half an hour should start to rain heavily. So we'll see.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Wow, well, there you go. I mean, if it starts to rain heavily in less than half an hour, that will be smack bang in the middle of the MotoGP race.
Yeah, how big do you want the curveball, guys? Wow, what a statement that was from Francesco Guidotti. And those teams, they've got state-of-the-art, super sophisticated weather tracking systems. What will happen then over the next hour or so? What we do know is Johann Zarco, all being well, will start from pole position ahead of fellow Frenchman Fabio Quartararo and Aleix Espargaro, the first Aprilia to be on the front row since 2000. Jeremy McWilliams, Miller Marquez and Oliveira go from row 2. Pol Espargaro and Taka Nakagami from row 3. And Yaya Rins and Alex Marquez, they go from row 4. That's a season best qualifying for Alex Marquez. Binder, Marini and Rossi go from row 5. The 2 brothers there, Marini and Rossi together. Mia, Morbidelli and Bastianini, they start from row 6. Bastianini, of course, had a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Petrucci yesterday. Petrucci, Lecuona, and yes, do not adjust your sets. Maverick Vinales, in his worst ever MotoGP qualifying, is right at the back of the pack, 21st place, just 1 place ahead of Lorenzo Savadori in 22nd.
If it does rain, and it is a flag to flag, then you know that Marc Marquez is going to be one of the favourites. He's a master at it, but Jack Miller won our most recent one, and he has to come into play as well. He's got great race pace. Let's pop down to the grid now. Simon, who have you got?
I've got Mayo Mirigali, and his man Fabio is well in with a chance of winning today. What are your main concerns with the weather coming, but also choices of tyres for the dry?
Yeah, first of all, if he stay dry, but with this cloud, I think some less temperature on the tarmac will for sure help us a bit. It will be very difficult, we know, to manage the tire for the long distance of the race. We really did all we could. And now it's up to him to try to eventually manage even more. Yeah, he has a good pace, but Oliveira, Zarco has the same pace, more or less. So it won't be easy. Now we really hope that he will remain dry, because otherwise we won't be able to do even a lap on the wet, because the procedure will be basically will send us all to the garage, and then it will be just a quick restart. So the rider can only do the sunny lap, warm up, and then start. It's tricky, and it's for sure a situation that no any rider will like. So let's hope for a dry one.
Thank you for your time, Mayo, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. At the moment it stays dry. We'll have to wait and see, but it's quite clear, Matt, from just a couple of team managers that we've heard from, there's a bit... The nerves aren't about the race, it's about the weather.
Just the worst possible scenario, isn't it? Everybody getting apprehensive about what the elements potentially will throw at us over the next half an hour or so. Pecco Bagnaia normally looks the epitome of ice cool, but he looks just a little bit nervous, shall we say, a little bit tentative. Late change of rubber coming here for one of the factory Ducati riders. Well, we know that Marc Marquez has been the undisputed king of the Sachsenring. Honda have got a great record here as well. They've won the last 10. What about their prospects of 11 in a row? Let's talk to HRC team manager Alberto Pujas with Simon.
Alberto, this is the first time for a while I've felt your guys really have a chance to do something special today. And looking at FP4, Marc, 15 laps in on the rear, 22 on the front, it was 1:21.8. That is right in there with the best guys. Who cares what I think? What do you think?
I think it's quite a difficult race laps, and you have to be very careful in the beginning with the throttle, I think, here, because at the end of the race you will suffer. But I think there are like 2 or 3 guys very fast, like Quartararo and Oliveira, maybe Miller. And yeah, our guys will try also to be with them. But yeah, I think important to take it easy, not too much in the beginning, but just remembering that it's a long race and the drop here is quite big.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks to Alberto Pucci. Here is his man, Marc Marquez. His best chance of a podium on his return from that crushing injury. He starts 5th on the grid. We may well see 1 or 2 gambles here on the grid in terms of tyre choice as well. Penalty for Bastianini, a 3-place grid penalty for cruising yesterday. He starts from 18th now as opposed to 15th originally. And what are the chances today of KTM as well? Miguel Oliveira has just been in such brilliant form of late, the winner from last time out. He's 6th on the grid, he has the pace as well. Brad Binder, his teammate, a bit further down in 13th. Mike Leitner's with Simon.
He is. Mike, I looked at FP4 last night, and just like Barcelona, Miguel was awesome right through FP4, keeping those tyres going. What do you think he can do today?
Yeah, I mean, in FP4 he did show a very nice performance, but you know, Sachsenring is a very tight track, especially the first 2 laps will be very busy, so we are in a good position with Miguel on the 2nd line. 6th should be okay, but you never know. And yeah, I think you have to manage the beginning of the race in a good way, and then anyway you have to have a very good rhythm to do a good result here.
Just about Brad, he's a little bit further back, but he's a real Sunday man. At this track, do you think there's a chance he can come through?
Yeah, like I say, for Brad everything is still open. I mean, he's a Sunday man, and yeah, we found maybe a little better way from bike setting for him for today. But at the end, the race will show, you know, it's so demanding on the rear tire, this race on front tire, and yeah, it's very difficult to manage and to bring it in a good position to the finish line.
Thank you, Mike. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much to Mike Leitner. Here's Joan Mir then. He qualified 17th yesterday, but as a result of Bastianini's penalty, he moves up to 16th, which puts him on the outside line on the 6th row of the grid.
Not normally shy of making overtakes, is he? Joan Mir needs to make a lot to get himself just inside the top 10. There's your pole man, Johann Zarco, trying to stay cool and relaxed. What can Joan Mir do from 16th on the grid? What can Alex Rins do on his return from injury from just outside of the top 10? Well, let's find out the pre-race thoughts of Suzuki boss Shinichi Sahara, who's with Simon.
Sahara-san, can you tell us your thoughts, what you think your guys can do today? I'm really unsure. Normally they can get through right to podium, but today I genuinely don't know. What do you think?
Yes, it was unlucky for us. We are forced to be such a back of the grid because of some traffic or yellow flag situation in a qualify. So, but our race lap was quite good, especially in this warm-up session. Yeah, both sides are quite good. But only my concern is Alex injury. He still has a sore arm, so I think he can manage well. And anyway, we aim to get fight to podium.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much to Shinichi Sahara. Alex Rins starting from 11th.
I love that. Antonio Jimenez there, just asking Aleix Espargaro if he needs an umbrella just to shade himself. And he just went, nah, I'm fine. I'm in the zone. I'm ready. You need a long memory to see the last time Aleix Espargaro was on a front row. Assen 2015. Now this is interesting, just quickly, because the initial tyre sheet was Taka Nakagami was the only man that came to the grid opting for Michelin soft rear tyre, and it's the perfect time then to pop down and find out the latest tyre information. Simon Crayford could not have timed it better because he's grabbed the word with Michelin boss Piero Taramasso.
I have, the man himself. Piero, tell us what's news.
Yeah, the news is that last night everybody, the tire choice was done, so everybody was with the hard front and medium rear. That was the best compromise. And then now, because the temperature is a little bit lower, it's 10 degrees less on the track, some riders they change, like Maverick, he went for front medium, and Nakagami also, front medium and soft rear, so I think he will be the only one. Bagnaia and Martin also, I think they switch with the medium front. So, but in the main choice is the rear medium. That will for sure was the best solution. We have to see Nakagami with the soft rear if he can keep the pace until the end of the race.
The riders I spoke to said the front was handling the punishment round here really well. What about rear? When in the race do you expect a bit of a drop?
Yes, the front is good, it's quite hard, he can support all the 30 laps. The rear, yesterday with the 50 degrees on the track, the last 6-7 laps, was giving up a little bit, but today with less temperature on the track, he can do all the race with a good pace, I think.
Thank you, Piero.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks very much. Interesting, isn't it, from Nakagami? You just wonder, don't you, whether or not the team's radar suggesting rain, and Nakagami's thought, you know what, I might as well gamble. Yeah. I'm not in the championship. If I can get up to speed quick, get the soft working, maybe he puts himself in a really good position if it does rain.
It is a punt though, Steve. He's the only man, as Piero Taramasso said, the information that we have was bang on. Nakagami is the only rider that's gone for the soft rear, and he is one of only 4 riders that's gone for the medium front, joined with Vinales, Bagnaia and Jorge Martin. So he's having a proper gamble here, is old Taka.
So, a 30-lap race coming up, nerves jangling, eyes on the sky. Francesco Guidotti and his man on pole, Johann Zarco. He believes any winner from the front 2 rows. The front 2 rows feature Zarco, Quartararo, Aleix Espargaro, Jack Miller, Marc Marquez and Miguel Oliveira. It really would be some tale. You might look at this weekend and say, well, it wouldn't be a surprise if Marc Marquez was to win in Sachsenring, but what a story, what a sporting achievement it would be if he was to stand on the top step today after everything that has gone on in the past 12 months.
Danilo Petrucci. Well, at least we have got some fans in the Sachsenring, I guess we could say. They're just trying to keep cool then ahead of this 30-lap race. Will it be a full dry race? Will it team it down and we're going to get a flag to flag? Who knows? There's going to be a few sore necks emerging right now over the next 10 minutes or so, with everybody looking skyward to try and understand what's going to happen. Johann Zarco was really, really good in that flag-to-flag race, particularly late on when the track dried in Le Mans.
Such a tight, twisty track here at Sachsenring. It's a short spurt down to turn 1, downhill, off camber. It gets busy there in Moto3 and Moto2 with these MotoGP bikes as well. Trying to get through sector 1 on the opening lap is just a job in itself.
And the thing as well, Steve, if you do get a flag-to-flag, I mean, there was some wet running, wasn't there, in Le Mans pre-race, but here there's been none of it.
Nothing.
It would be, I mean, you talk about going into a situation completely blind. Well, the ultimate curveball potentially coming here.
A smile on the face of Quartararo, he looks cool, and then the focused eyes of Marc Marquez. He almost looks like the Terminator there.
He wants this one, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he wants to keep
does.
that record going. You just sense that the swagger is coming back. He's just moving around with that air of confidence again now, Marc Marquez.
Here's Lorenzo Savadori. He's lining up 22nd on the 8th row of the grid.
I'm not going to pick a fight with Lorenzo Savadori's Brolly dog.
TV journalist from around the world, Fabio Quartararo, said, "I'm not buying it. I've looked at his rhythm and his pace. He'll be there. I know he wants to keep this undefeated run going, and I want to be there to try and stop it." Marc Marquez played down his chances yesterday in the TV set to pretty much every
Dolly, that's for sure. Zarco then, the picture of concentration. A French 1-2 on the grid. Well, we've just heard about Taka Nakagami's potentially bold gamble, dropping down to the medium front tyre and the slick rear tyre. Let's hear all about it from Nakagami's team boss, Lucio Cecchinello, with Simon.
Yes, Lucio, can you give us an idea what you think both your riders can do today, and also why Taka has dropped down compound-wise tyre choice?
Well, first of all, what's going on today? It's nobody knows, because it will be a very, very close race. Of course, I hope that Taka and Alex will finish in a strong top 10 position. Especially Taka, I think he has more possibility. About the tire choice of Taka, I must say that this morning he tried with a soft used tire, and he was able, after 18 laps, to lap around 21.7, 21.8. So we decided that because the asphalt temperature is below 40 degrees, we decided to take a small risk and to go with a softer compound.
Thank you, and we wish you best of luck with that choice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much to Lucio Cecchinello. Let's see how that one goes. In the battle of the rookies, this man's in it, Luca Marini. Had a pretty good weekend so far, qualified in 14th. Martin, of course, the top rookie in 7th. And Nea Bastianini, after that penalty, will start the Grand Prix from 18th spot. There's the helicopter view of the grid ahead of this 30-lap race, which is getting closer and the race starts. Closer as the BMW will roar away down towards turn 1. 5 minutes until
BMW then roars towards turn 1. The sirens going off in the background. Will it be a flag to flag? What drama will come from the elements? We're edging ever closer to a German Grand Prix. Time for the grid to clear. And will Taka Nakagami's tyre gamble pay off? Will Johann Zarco finally end his long quest for a MotoGP victory? And what about this man? Can he extend his golden streak? And you can never discount Jack Miller as well.
The 8th round of MotoGP 2021, and your front row for the Liquimoli Grand Prix. Aleix Espargaro starting from 3rd on the Aprilia. Can he get the team from Nuale onto the podium? There would be some celebrations tonight if that's possible, that's for sure. What can Marc Marquez do from the 2nd row of the grid? As Matt said, he looks like he wants it. There's something special in the air about this race. There's more than meets the eye to the Grand Prix of Germany. Fabio Quartararo has been in supreme form. There have been a couple of hiccups so far this year, but he's going for his 4th win of 2021. Will Miller pick up his hat-trick of victories for 2021? Will he win 3? Or will the win come from elsewhere? There's Brad Binder He's got some work to do early on, needs to make a good start on paper, doesn't have the pace to run with the front guys, but it is a Sunday. Aleix Espargaro then third on the grid. It's second for the World Championship leader, Fabio Quartararo, and second in the World Championship behind him is the man on pole, Pramac Ducati's